The fifth installment of the Insidious franchise returns its focus to the Lambert family, and as a result, Rose Byrne and Patrick Wilson return in major roles, and Patrick Wilson is making his directorial debut here. Let's talk about Insidious: The Red Door. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new Insidious movie, The Red Door. This is in theaters right now. Had a really great first weekend. In fact, it bested Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny's second weekend. A lot of people surprised about that, and I'm not sure how much in the works this was going to be. Or if this was supposed to be kind of the final film in the franchise. But they have now announced a sixth Insidious movie is going to be coming out. I imagine part of that is due to the success of this one. Pretty quick turnaround, though. But in any event, once we get through my review, you'll know that maybe I want to close the Red Door on this franchise. But anyway, before we launch into any of the specifics there, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews. Thank you for finding this video. We've got a ton of great movie and TV reviews for you to check out. I try to post something new just about every day, so lots to peruse here on the channel. Please consider subscribing down below, like this video, share it on your socials, or comment on it. All that stuff does help the channel out. All right, so like I said, this one sort of returns to the main family, the Lamberts, from the first couple of installments. The last one focused more on, exclusively on the Lynn Shay character of Elise Rayner and sort of her background. I thought that was a nice change of pace after the really horrible third installment. The first one, if we could talk about my history a little bit with the franchise, the first one I thought was really, really good. It came out at a time when there was a lot of really great original horror content in theaters. Sinister was fantastic. The first Conjuring I loved. This one wasn't quite as good as either of those, but I still liked it a lot. There was a lot of really sort of horrific, kind of imagery and moments and that kind of thing. Second one, a little bit less so, definitely more average there. The third one, quite bad. And then the fourth one, The Lost Key, I thought was sort of a nice return to form in terms of kind of, themes and, the tension of that first movie. And I love that Elise Rayner character that Lynn Shay portrays. And she is in this installment as well, but very briefly. More like some of her kind of cameo work in the third movie, and I think maybe even the second movie. But anyway, I would have to go back and watch, but I think the third one is the worst. This one is not quite in that league, but yeah, it's not great, and we'll talk about why here. Essentially, the focus, like I said, is back on the Lambert family, and Josh, who is played by Patrick Wilson, he has repressed all of these memories of what they call the further, and that was, this we see in the first scene, he's under hypnosis and he's going to forget about the further. Okay. And his son, who is played once again by Ty Simpkins, he was just a kid in the first one, and you may recognize him from the first Jurassic World as well. He was in that. But he makes his return in this franchise with the college age Dalton now, and he has also been repressed of all of these memories. The mom and dad of the Lamberts, they have been divorced, so Rose Byrne is in this movie in a less capacity than the first one. It's definitely more of a father-son, kind of thing. There's some tension there over the years, and we sort of learn why as the movie goes on, which actually I think has, as it goes on, as we sort of learn why there's this tension between the two, and as we sort of get into a little bit of the background of the Josh character, I do think it actually, picks up a little bit in those last maybe 20, 25 minutes. But the first, 2/3 of this movie, if not more, is very, very standard stuff. Way too much with the jump scares. I always hate those. It's such a cheap shot. Yeah, okay, maybe I do jump a little bit sometimes, but it's only because the volume of the movie goes up, by 3%, or 3 times or whatever, to force that jump. It's just a cheap way to get a scare. Tell us in the story, why we should be scared. I feel like the devices there that they're using are just kind of cheap shots for the most part. There's a little bit of intrigue with Dalton's roommate, who is this really cool chick named Chris. And I don't recognize the actress or her name, Sinclair Daniel. Don't know her, but she plays Chris here, and the two become good friends, and she's trying to help him through whatever is going on with him, as we sort of learn as we go. But it's all quite standard. And then that the end sort of 20 minutes, like I said, definitely ups the interest level and intrigue of what's going on in the story. I'm not positive that it makes complete sense, even within the confines of the rules of these movies, but I at least there was something going on the screen. It wasn't total boredom. I did find parts of this movie like dragged a little bit, which you don't really want in a horror movie, but at the same time, every 2 to 3 minutes there was something quote unquote frightening going on the screen. If it was a jump scare, okay, but sometimes there was some other things going on that were maybe a little intriguing, but not necessarily scary. It feels like maybe the best stuff from this franchise are well behind it, and mainly done in that first and fourth movie. As for Wilson's directing, it's okay. It's serviceable, I guess, for what this sort of was trying to do, but it definitely relied way too heavily on some of those classic horror notions like the jump scare that I think you could replace with interesting storytelling. And in addition, I don't find the son character, the Ty Simpkins character, that compelling. He's an okay actor, I guess. And we recently saw him in The Whale, I think, too. But it just did not work for me. He was very bland. They did not make anything interesting out of that character. The most interesting thing about him was his friend Chris. Build me a movie around her character. Maybe we've got something. And more Lin Shaye. I understand, there's obviously some things because of past movies that maybe would have limited her, but I look, they can always find a way in this kind of movie to bring back a fan favorite, and Lin Shaye is certainly my favorite character from this franchise. This is definitely one of the poorer entries in the franchise. I leave Insidious: The Red Door with a C-. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see everybody next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.